Ladies and gents, FM24 is here. It is finally upon us, and we are going to take a look at it. We've got 2 weeks of the beta before the official release on November 6th. And if you have not gotten your copy yet, definitely check out the link below. You'll see a nice discount from the Football Manager blog channel. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through right now the beginning of it all. I'm going to start my save. I'm going to continue my save. I'll tell you who it is in just a minute, but I'm going to continue that on my channel on Sefian FM. So definitely check that out if you want to take a look. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk through just a quick bit of the new features and things you can find in the new game. So with that, right off the bat, we are starting with a brand new save. And one thing that is definitely different is you can actually load up an FM23 save. So you can see FM24, FM23. These are all the saves that I've done with a lot of the tactics that I've done, player profiles. And this, look at this. You recently selected and it shows you the selection for Tottenham. It is absolutely fantastic. Now, this is the one thing I've always hated. It forces you to save something. So I'm going to have to save it, but it is so nice to see that screen. It shows a little bit more on the loading screen. It allows you to load up FM23 games. Unfortunately, only FM23, not FM22 or below before, but you still get to take your save from previous years and continue on. If you're in 2041, you can start in 2041 and continue from there. So that is absolutely amazing. It's something that everyone's been clamoring for so long. I really wonder what's going to happen in FM25. They've got to keep it, right? But we are going to look at change number 2. If we start a new game, we go to career. You can see, I'm going to choose Liverpool just because, but choose a game mode. This is something else that we've been asking for years. You have original game mode. This is just like every other FM you've ever played. You start out with the transfers already set the moment you start your game, no matter what day you start it with, early preseason, regular preseason, somewhere down the line. Every transfer that has actually been made in the summer window is in this save. Real world. This is similar. However, when your transfers come in, they come in on the actual day that they joined. So if you're starting in July of 2023 and, a player on your team doesn't come in the real world or came in the real world in August 15th of 2023, that player will not be in your save until, or at least not on your team, until they join on August 15th, 2023. So that, it's fantastic to see. It's great to see that you can see real world additions. Now, from what I've heard, I have not tested this out, but from what I've heard, you cannot cancel transfers. So if your team brought in a player on, September 1st, and you don't want that player in, you cannot cancel it. Again, what I've heard, I've not seen it before, but at least you've got real world time. You still have some money to play with generally, at least in the videos that I've seen. But, you can bring in some other players if you want. However, unfortunately, you can't cancel anything. Your players are already scheduled to come in and leave from your team. And that's the way it is. Now, your world. No transfers have been made from the summer, and you get to choose your own. I believe this starts you off immediately at the preseason time frame. So no transfers have been made during the summer. All of that money is thrown into your transfer kitty, which is just, amazing. Especially if you're on teams like Manchester City. You got a ton of money to play with. You don't like some of the players that they brought in the summer, you don't have to worry about them. You start with your world, and you've got so much money to play with. You can pick out whoever you want. Granted, now if you're on a lower team, you still have some money to bring in. But still, it's nice to know that you've got your options of play the normal way you want to play in the real world scenario where players come and go during the transfer window and you don't have a choice, or play in your own little world where I don't like the transfers they made that summer. I'm going to bring in my own. I've got plenty of money to do it. But what we're going to do is we're going to start with the original, and I'll be back in a minute to show you which team I am going to be doing on my channel, Sefian FM. So yes, this save is going to be with Valencia, so not Liverpool. This was the poll that I had on my channel. This is what people chose, and we've got media prediction of 9th. Interesting, because I thought they were going to basically come in almost dead last. Not dead last, but pretty close to dead last. They were not, from what I read online, they are not highly touted this season. But they've got some players I know. I know Duro a little bit, Almeida, Canos, and Gaia, Diakabi. Otherwise, I don't know this team at all. You guys chose it, so this is what we're going to do. And I've got really an uphill climb right now. So we're going to take a look at this. But a few other things I want to note first. So let's get to it. Now, set pieces is the other big addition to this, and one that everyone's been clamoring for yet again throughout all the FMs that I know about. Basically, when it comes to set pieces, I've never been any good. I've always wanted to look at the set piece tactics that you found on the Steam Workshop. Never really did, never was really interested in it. Because, I mean, I don't know a lot of football that you guys do. I know the game, but when it comes to set pieces, I don't really know what to do, what kind of set piece do I want to set up, things like that. This has been a fantastic addition. I really hope it works well. So basically what you do, you have the induction now where you can go through and set up your own type of tactic, or at least what kind of strategies do you prefer? Do you prefer zonal versus player marking versus a hybrid? So I'm going to choose hybrid right now. Do you want them? Do you want two fullbacks to occupy the post, the near post, or no post? I'm going to do both posts. Defend the box, counterattack, or a balanced. So I'm going to do a little bit of a balanced attack. Far post, central, or near post. Far post seems to be doing okay. Actually, you know what? I'm going to try and do the near post. Either flick it backwards to someone who can kick it in, or at least get it to your feet and then scoot it in. Defending transition, stay high or balanced. Again, I'm going to do a balanced attack or a defensive piece there. In swinger right there, straight into the hopefully the near post, and then boot it in. I'm definitely going to be taking a look at other people's videos on how they've done it, because clearly I am not an expert. So this is your new set piece screen. Basically, set pieces corners. You can look at free kicks and throw-ins. You can look at defending scenarios or attacking scenarios. You can have multiple routines. So routine 1 you can have for most of the time. Routine 2 you can set up for part of the time. And you can tell the match engine that during a match, I want routine 1 done 3/4 of the time and routine done just a little bit. So another quarter. I don't know how many routines you can have. I'm going to assume up to 3. That's usually the tactic piece. But it's nice to know that you can kind of switch things up and kind of vary it so other teams don't actually get to learn your tactics. Now, you definitely can have yourself as the creator of the whole set piece attack, or you can delegate it to others. Right now, it's delegated. I'm just going to show you how things are. I'm going to look at things out, off screen. Now, one of the great things that I've been reading about aerial threats, box threats, creators, recovery defenders. If you've got maybe 3 players that you really want as an aerial threat and you have 1 as a box threat, you can just move things around. No, doesn't matter. No question about it. Move things around. You can take a look at who your coaching staff thinks are the best ranked in your team on aerial threats, box threats, creators, recovery defenders. And what's fantastic is people have already started with finding workarounds. Let's say if Diakabi was an aerial threat and a box threat. He's not, but let's say he was. You can say, if he's number 1 on tops of both, let's move him up. Actually, let's say in aerial threats, he was your 3rd choice. And in box threats, he was your number 1. So here's the problem. Your priority list sets the priorities of what takes precedence of all your players in these positions. Now, if your box threat has Diakabi as number 1, and your aerial threat has him as number 3, you've got 3 aerial threats, so he's going to be used as the aerial threat long before he's used as the box threat. So what you can do, if you really, he's number 1 in box threat, so you take him as an aerial threat, you move him down either to the bottom or somewhere way down there. Now the system will see him as an aerial threat all the way down here and not in your top 3 or 4 or 5 or 6. So he will clearly be used as a box threat, period. No question about it. Now, what happens if you didn't want that and you wanted him as an aerial threat? Well, let's bring him back to the top. And then let's just take box threats, move it up. Let's move it up. There we go. Move him down in box threats. You're all set. Clearly there are better ways to do that. You could have kept him as aerial threats. He would have been stuck as an aerial threat. However, it's just nice to see that you can move these up. What is your priority? Is your priority the creator? Or I'm not going to do that. Is your priority the box threats or the aerial threats? I'm probably going to do aerial threats first. Then I'm going to do box threats. Creator can go down. So things like that. Then you got to set up your team, figure out what you want to do, and great. And not only with that, you can set up 3 aerial threats, 1 box threats, however you want to do it. I can change the aerial threat. I can change them to lurking near post. I can change to lurking at far post. I think one of the times that I was playing with this, you can have them attacking the near post and attack the near post. So go forward, you can have him attacking the far post. So you can set it up however you want. Unfortunately, you cannot move these players into different positioning, but that's all set up through here. Now it looks like you can click that, select, and do some informational pieces through your players. But overall, this is a fantastic option. There's so much to do here when you've got defend and attack, corners, free kicks, and throw-ins. There's so much to set up. I actually might think it's a bit of a pain. I want to take a look at what other creators do, but it's a fantastic addition. Definitely need to see what it's like. Definitely need to see what others are doing for it. But in my limited, football knowledge, this might be a little bit overwhelming. Granted, not nearly as overwhelming as the FM23 and before, where you're just stuck with a screen and you got to say, you do this, this, and this, and not even really understand what's going on. Okay, we are back with Valencia. Squad-wise, again, I don't know this squad very well. I know that we've got a couple players that I do know. I've heard the name of. Paulista is kind of an old soul, shall we say. I think he's 32. Diakabi, I've heard of. Jose Gaia, I mean, everyone's heard of him for the past God knows how many years. He's what, 27? 28 years old. So he's kind of on the higher end. Now, if we look at the squad planner, you can see right now our AMR, I mean, we've got a lot of problems here. Our attacking right, our attacking left, and our defensive left are problematic. So we've got Jose Gaia, who's clearly the front runner to be the best on the team. He's club captain, I believe, right now. We have Thierry Rondel Correia he's Portuguese. So I'm not going to pronounce these names very well. So we have him as a backup. However, he's on the right. So I love having that right and left side. I always have, always will. So we need someone else on the left. On the attacking midfield left, let's see. Jose Gaia can play there. Hugo Duro, Canos. We've got some players who can play there, but they're not all that highly rated. And yes, I do use the stars. I don't use them solely. I don't use them as the end all to be all. However, if you look at someone who's got 2.5 stars, he's good enough for the first team, but probably not good enough to be a starter. So we have to take a look at that. I need some suggestions, please, on transfers. We don't have a lot. We have 2.14 million and only 1.03 million in the bank, negative as a payroll. So we're going to have to get rid of a couple players. We're going to have to see how things go. But what I want to do today, besides all that intro stuff, I want to get to this first match. It is going to be the Valencia second squad. So we're going to see how they do. Just kind of an intro to the team and everything. And then we've got some testimonials there. Lopez testimonial, Gonçalves testimonial. And the next episode, we're going to go straight to Almeria. And what I'm going to do with this save, I'm going to try and probably bring you more episodes. So Almeria, I'll bring you. Barcelona, I will bring you. Real Madrid, I'll bring you. So things like this, I'm going to try and bring you more matches so I can get them done a little bit quicker and not have you wait like a week for, 4 matches in between. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to take a look at this right now, get through the weeds, and then I'll come back for the first match of this FM24 season. It's going to be a doozy. So this is the tactic that we're going to start out with. Is basically a custom gegenpress. I've only added a couple things to it. A 4-2-3-1. We're going to see how it works. I really am not a tactic person. So we'll see how it works and how things go for the first, probably all the friendlies. And then if not, I'll come up with something different, maybe a 2-side attacking. But we're going to get into the first friendly right now. Again, it is just against our second squad. I just want to take a look at the graphical changes, how things have, if they've changed at all, and see what we're working with. So we're going to skip to that right now. This is the first match. Again, it's just against the B team, basically. So we should be winning handily. But the intro was a nice graphical change. Nice to see the players warming up and things like that. But again, look at these trees. Is this their whole place? Well, I guess this is probably not the actual La Mestalla that they play in. But overall, none of this has changed. I don't need, again, inductions. I don't need all of them. You can leave me alone for a little while. So as you can see, this is the tactic that we've been using. It'll be interesting to see how the next couple matches go. They're not using the same tactic. That's the first time I've seen that. Usually they'll use the exact same tactic as the first team does. So maybe we should be looking at a 4-3-3 instead. So graphically, it'll definitely be changing in FM25, and that is what I'm super uber excited to see. There is no question that I can't wait to see what that's like. They've done, so far I've seen some nice FM24 updates. I mean, the set piece update is massive, but something we should have seen long ago. The graphically, piece to it, it's still missing. I think I can see some little additions here and there, but I can't wait to see what next season's like. It's going to be a huge piece to it. So as you can see, our first team is not, I mean, 21 minutes in, you had a couple players in front that you could have done something with. But Canos back to Pepelu into, what is it, Fran Perez. Fantastic goal right there. I mean, I'm cheering, but this is kind of expected against the B team. But nice setup plays there. Canos back to Pepelu into Fran Perez. Again, I don't know these players very well. I know Pepelu's name, but beyond that, I don't know what his abilities are. I know he's a DM. Kind of MC side. Our first corner. How does our new set piece deal? Oh, again, point it down somewhere. But a new set piece not doing too badly. Let's see. Number 2 kicks it to the near post. I should probably set up a second one. Again, if you have more, multiple ones, you can choose Gazalbez. I've never heard of him before, but set pieces, you can choose more than one, and you can have them doing, different ones throughout the, the course of a match. But it'll be interesting to see how that actually progresses. I don't know what's been going on in that defensive piece, but 2-0, 25 minutes in. Now I can kind of relax a little. Again, second tier. What am I even worried for? Back to Yugaduro. Gaia, open net, 3-0. Nope. Apparently he was offside. And Dominic is out. That's not a good sign. Potential arm injury. Well, Christian Rivero, you're in. Please don't give me pause for concern. I don't even know what happened there. Fran Perez gets a second one. That was a complete cluster screw up in that little, the 6-yard box. Terry, all the way up to Fran Perez. I mean, is it an own goal? No, Fran Perez comes in, tips it in. But man, that was bad. Our youth might not be all that great. And we got yet another corner. Can we do anything? Oh, God dang it. I mean, seriously, dudes. You keep heading it. I mean, there's no way to have them point down. It's always been an issue with me where you got a header. I want you to point down. That was fantastic by Duro and Gaia. I really can't have Gaia lose or, get left out. But praise that entire team. That was beauty. That was apparently a penalty. That was the worst penalty I've ever seen. So that is full time. We did a absolute shellacking of this team. But if you actually look at the second team, Ruiz got a 7-0 and let in 4. So apparently he did very well. They only had 1 shot and 1 on target. So the basic, God, why is there a banana on the floor? This is disgusting. Anyway, so basically, like I said before, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try, right now I'm going to go through friendlies and I'm going to get to the Almeria game, I believe it was. First match of the season, we're going to see how that goes. I kind of want to do more videos during the week. So maybe 4 videos a week. So that means I'm going to be doing every other game, every third game or so abouts. And we'll see how that goes. If it just doesn't work, we'll go back to our normal routine. If you don't like it, we'll go back to whatever you want it to do. But again, please let me know on transfers. Who should I bring in? Who should I look at and have scouted? We don't have a lot of money. We'll definitely need to sell players. Definitely want to know whom I should sell. But that is it for me, 7FM. Thank you so much for watching. Take care, and we'll see you next time.